Call the spaceships to Davenport. Prepare for divanarchy and interface with a couch in space. Welcome to Space Couch. Oh, it's been a week, both literally and emotionally. It's been 7 days since we last spoke, but it is great to see you again out here in the vastness of the void when it's just me and the couch and occasionally the dog if she walks in front of the camera. Space Couch is, of course, brought to you. Oh, Ian Stare with the first comment on Twitch today, followed nanoseconds later by More Death. And you guys are just in time for me. Oh, Syrinx. Greetings from ARF. It is a rogues gallery right off the bat. And this rogues gallery is brought to you by Tiger Squawk Records, our sponsor this week, featuring so much new stuff. Kionic with the brand new track featuring astrally called Darkness and Fury. Stigmata with Screwdrivers is back with the noise epic. It's awesome. The Agony of a Year Without End, Billionaire Proctologist, Mothman with Ebola. That was me and Eric Gottesman being silly. Gasoline Invertebrate. That's me and a bunch of people being wild. Beta Virus just dropped a monstrous single for I Am Air. Industrial did a meme-based track called Critically Drunk after the critical drinking thing. Dark Force 1 and 2 from Mr. Zoth and the Were Spiders. And Squawk Stock alumni put together Squawk's Giving 2020, a sampler. That's Pay What You Want. Check that all out at tigersquawkrecords.bandcamp.com. Just so much music all over the place. Missing in Stars is in the chat room. DJ D42. Ian Stare says the new beta virus is banging. Oh, thanks, man. This will be the de facto season finale because we take off a little bit for the end of the year. And then we'll be back with season 4. Amorous Sky in Skype says, "Hey, Ian Stare brought me here." Well, thank you to Ian. Who was a great guest last week, and it is my pleasure to bring in this week's guest for the big season finale. Let's just get right to it because it's going to be a great episode as always. Perennial favorite, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Archer. What's up, buddy? Oh, you motherfucker.
Anyway.
Let me be the first.
So, poor impulse control.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll check it out. You are now officially the highest attended guest on Space Couch. You were the first recipient ever, ready, of the Four Timers Award. Four Timers Award goes to the amazing Stephen Archer. There. That's the key to shut off my animated GIF that I got.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome, really. Hang out down in the corner. I mean, shit. Four's a good number. Four's the number whenever I play drums for somebody, I'm like, I can count to 4 and that's it.
Right.
So
well,
expect me to get any more. If you can break it down into below 4, we're good.
Well, Saturday Night Live has the 5 Timers Club. But we're all about four on the floor here on Space Couch, so I figured 4 was a good number. Your Rickroll killed in the chat room here. Speaking of killing, you are never not working on a project, and today, nominally, maybe we'll see. We have all of space to explore, but in the short term, tell us about the Mask of the Red Death. What is it? Where do we get it? Oh, you have it.
I have it. This is one of the pre-sales that the publisher sent me, so I can sign it and so they can send them off. And for the people who got the pre-sales, it also, let me back up. There's a story by a guy named John Langan who was very cool, and after reading the story, it got me interested in doing this project. And I actually was able to get him to write the foreword to this, so that's very cool.
That is very cool.
But he did a story called Technicolor that is a amazing sort of a take on Mask of the Red Death, and you'll I'm that's included as a free download when you get this,
Oh.
along with some other things. So I've got to put all that stuff in there. So I started this about 3 years ago on a whim. I I listen to audiobooks constantly,
Hmm.
and within like 2 or 3 weeks, this it Mask of the Rat Death kept getting referred to in all these books I was reading, and I just got very interested in it. And I've never been all that interested in Poe's work. I mean, I know it, but but the thing about this story that I thought was really interesting was the decadence of it.
Mm.
If you don't know it, basically, it's this year is a there's a plague loose on the land, and everybody. One man, Prince Prospero, brings as all of his people into this massive structure where they party and get decadent and all these things. And until the final night, they're having a masquerade, thus Mask. And the Red Death, in this case, herself, shows up and kills everybody.
Mm.
Um, that's kind of a gross oversimplification, but I got from a visual point of view, I got very interested in that idea.
Okay.
So I
Wow.
started doing just a whole series of artwork on it. The story is exactly the same, except I changed the sex of the Red Death
Okay.
to a female character. Um, yeah, it was a great deal of fun, and it's something I'm very, very proud of. And I've managed to get blurbs from Neil Gaiman, Josh Mallerman, who did Bird
That's
Box,
incredible.
Nick Memetis, Lee Murray, the head of the Edgar Allan Poe Museum, and a few other people were have all said very nice things about it already.
That's.
Um,
I just want to put a pin in that for a second because I want to
yeah,
circle back to some names that will be incredibly familiar to our audience. You just Neil Gaiman gave you a shout out. That is incredible. Author of Bird Box gave you a shout out. Different guy, but like that's so amazing. Now the product itself is
mhm,
the original text with the wonderful
right.
Stephen Archer artwork that we've all come to know and love, and cool kids across these United States have on their refrigerators, or framed as
This
I
is
do.
good. I'm going to put it on the refrigerator.
Well, I have a Stephen Archer corner, to be honest, but many people do. So we get this from Raw Dog
Raw Dog
Screaming.
Streaming Press is our publisher. And if you can't find it there, you can always email me. But if you just look up Mask of the Red Death with my name, you'll find it. It'll be available in Amazon, and it probably won't be in actual bookstores, but you could order if you wanted to order it through Barnes and Noble. I'm sure you can get
Very
it.
cool. Grasp Logic says, "Hallo Weltraum Couch, wie geht's, mein Freund?" So how does it like for prospective artists, perhaps authors out there? Do you just go to Raw Dog Screaming Press and say, "I have this idea of making a comic book ish sort of thing," or does it? Do you have to pitch it?
Well, well, we were like we've actually been working with Raw Dog since Donna's first book,
Right.
Isabel Burnham, came out, and both of us with my children's book and with Isabel, we both did the sending out, your packages to tons of different publishers trying to get
Hmm.
them interested in it. Um, and then, but another part of it is actually just going to horror conventions where the publishers
Mm.
actually are. And the thing that worked out very nicely is that the people who run Raw Dog Screaming Press used to have a band that opened for us
Nice.
like 20 years ago. And people that we just didn't know that they that's who they were.
Hmm.
So when we went and we're like, oh, hey. And so we talked to them, and that worked out really well. Um, for people who don't do that, it's just like approaching a record label or anything like that. The absolute best thing you can do
Hmm.
is go with a finished product and say, like, and even with Mask, I did the entire thing first and then said, here it is, it's
Hmm.
done. When I turn in a record to Metropolis or whatever, it's like, here's the record, it's
Right.
done. So the big trick with a record label or a publisher or anything like that is you need to be able to show, as we know, the thing being good is not necessarily as important from a business standpoint as, I mean, it's good if it's good,
That
but
helps.
if you can move units and it's
Right.
crap, then from a business standpoint, it's good for the publisher to put it out because that way they have more money to put out stuff that they actually think is good. So a big part of getting, doing this kind of thing is just all of the things we do, the band and all that stuff feeds in on itself. So we have an audience. So I can kind of go to them and go, look, I mean, it doesn't, I've already got people who will buy this,
Mm.
and I already know how to sell it. Whereas they have published people who literally they published something by a dude who lives in a cabin and sends them stuff occasionally, but doesn't do anything to promote it,
Mm.
any of that kind of stuff. So a lot of it comes down to again, like Metropolis or anybody else, they will work for you as hard as you work for them.
Okay.
In the cases of most record labels. So um, so yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to that. Like, so if you have definitely having a finished product thing helps. Already having an audience helps. Knowing how to talk about your work
Hmm.
is a big part of it too. Like, we would back when you could leave the house, go to conventions with them and sit at the tables, and as other
Hmm.
people come through, we would sit there and we'd talk about the
That
work. Just being able to do that, that is always a
is
good thing.
true. I know I brought this up last time, but I have had the privilege of having tabled next to Ego or Stoneburner a couple times, and it is I've learned a lot about that art. Pardon the pun. Speaking of art, let's actually take a look at the promo reel you have for it. This is the promo reel for the Mask of the Red Death book, illustrated, of course, by our guest today, written by some guy, available from Raw Dog Screaming Press, and it is Shift 6. Right. So that was the trailer for Mask of the Red Death. Dre Robinson is here. You did the music for that, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that was not a massive cover. That was, uh, pardon me, I'll just burp into the mic like a
Well, it was
professional.
a cover of Inertia
It
Creeps.
wasn't a cover of Okay, I'm
Yeah.
stupid. I'm stupid. I thought that was something else. Yes, I know you do that cover of Miniature Creeps. Yes, you have a good ear. And he says that was sick. It was sick. Not pardoning the pun. So, uh, with I mean, I know you are a pretty literary guy. I mean, Stone Burner and to a certain extent Ego Likeness is Dune based,
Mhm.
if that's the right word to use. Why the Mask of the Red Death? Like, would you, what's your
Um,
connection there?
well, like I said, it's interesting because I did this like 3 years ago, and I've always been interested in the idea of island cultures where you take an isolated group
Hmm.
and watch how it's like when somebody gets their piercings and then they start doing more and more because they stop seeing them.
Hmm.
The same thing happened. I play around with that idea in this book a lot, where
Okay.
it's like where you're isolated from everything, so you just stop seeing
Oh,
some
fascinating.
of this decadence as a strange thing. And one of the things I kind of played with that in the trailer a little bit was the idea of, you've got a group of people who are setting themselves aside as the good people, the safe
Hmm.
people, but it's also okay to look down on these other people, or
Hmm.
uh, you know you begin to just develop these really unhealthy things when you don't have any perspective.
Hmm.
And I've
Okay.
thought about that a lot with kind of the current administration and a lot of the people that follow the current administration, where you have a lot of very self-congratulatory, ethical people doing awful shit because they lack that perspective. So I was telling somebody, I was like, well, so I did this whole project like 3 years ago, and I waited until the time was right. I sent this letter off to China with a little something extra,
Hmm.
and I just kind of created the ultimate marketing thing. Now I feel bad that maybe a few people got sick because of the marketing, but it just seemed like the time was right.
Just well, yeah, it's yeah, it's all a marketing campaign for Mask of the Red Death.
Exactly, exactly.
Was there any, and maybe this is a silly question, but uh, the fact that the text remains unchanged largely,
Hmm.
um, was did that sort of draw enough of a distinction between your two styles, or was there a challenge in putting the Stephen Archer spin on something while maintaining the integrity of the
Actually,
original?
the text is so over the top.
Okay.
It's so dramatic, and that part was actually pretty easy. I can't think of any parts of it that I had any problem
Hmm.
figuring it out. I basically, so what I did is I went through it and I broke the entire thing up into. I have a process when I do stuff like this. So I went through and I broke up all of it into sections that I figured would make. Hey puppy,
Yeah,
would
she
be good
never
for
comes out.
today.
She knows the animal lovers.
and um and then uh I, I I do a lot of what I always call reference and replace. So I'll go online, and I'll find images that I think kind of work for each page. They aren't mine.
Hmm.
They're just kind of something that I can refer to.
Hmm.
And then I'll go back through it and slowly swap out my own work. But that way
Okay.
you can look at the project as a whole.
Interesting.
I do that with records too. Actually, when,
Okay.
when I'm writing, I do that.
Fascinating. Well, you were the king of the segue. That was going to be sort of where I wanted to go with the next question, because really all I know is music uh, artistically. Like I'll do like a Space Dog says, yeah, Space Dog showed up today. I'll do like a Sharpie drawing for like an album
Hey,
cover,
that
but
Tiger Squawk artwork is pretty impressive.
well, you know, definitely using in-house talent for that. The the reason I bring it up is I don't have a great artistic background. Does the music brain or process figure into that art world, or is that completely segmented? It sounds kind of like there might be some crossover with what you just
It's
described.
it's different tools for the
Uh-huh.
same. It's the same. My set of tools are the same with different tools externally, but it's
Hmm.
creating. It's just different vocabularies
Mm.
to talk about similar stuff. And actually, if you ever really want to, if you can track down my SoundCloud page, I did a lecture at SCAD a bunch of years back on translating 2D art systems into audio,
Hmm.
creating audio. Um, I found a few things that work really well for me. Um, with music, because I'm a visual guy, I don't really care a whole lot about notes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm far more interested in sound and a sense of place,
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere, and things like that. So that's what really gets me off. And so for me, like in the same way that I was talking about how I would get a bunch of other artwork and kind of put it in as placeholders. When I'm writing a record, I actually just started a new Stoneburner record,
Oh,
and
hey.
the system that I use with that is I'll spend 1 or 2 nights and I'll bust out like 15 parts
Mm-hmm.
that will eventually become songs. And literally all they are is like a piece of noise and some drums and a tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time I'll go through one, two, and I do it all really, really fast, like
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes on each thing. And then I'll go through and I'll do it again. And every time I do it, I'll add a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And by the time I've done that enough, I will have everything kind of at the same level of
Mm.
done. So
Okay.
I'm able to kind of compare and contrast while I'm working on
Oh,
things.
okay. Very.
So that way I'm like, well, I've already done something like this, so I
Mhm.
need to take this other thing that's kind of like that and move it over this way. It just helps you visualize the whole thing.
Okay.
I
Fascinating.
also am a big fan of constraints. Like I'll give all the songs names before I've written the lyrics for them.
Oh,
And part of the
okay.
rule is you have to use that name to build the song around.
Nice. Nice.
So it's just a good way of staying having ADD. It's a really
Hmm.
good way of staying focused because the drug of choice for ADD is potential. And so this is a really good way of limiting those potential
Okay.
distractions by saying, okay, here are the rules. Like
Hmm.
one of the other rules is I can't get rid of a song completely. I can find the one section that works and get rid of everything else, but it's still that name, that part, and then you rebuild up off of it.
Okay.
Just little shit like that helps stay focused.
Totally. Yeah. Just setting up a scaffolding so you don't go 19 directions at once.
And also,
The.
you know that there's that kind of sense of like when you're in flow state and you're working and you're
Hmm.
working and you're working. Um, Once you eventually get to the point where you've done it enough that you know that I don't have to finish this right now.
Hmm.
I'm good at what I do. I can go back to it, and so this way you're kind of you work on one thing and you get something that works, and instead of just diving further into it, maybe screwing it up because you're in
Right.
flow state, you just move on to the next one, and then that way you're hitting each time you're hitting it, you're still maintaining that objectivity
Very cool.
um, instead of overworking something just because you're in the space.
That's a big idea. Yeah. Maintaining objectivity is, like I'm hearing this for the 3,333rd time, as opposed to somebody who just might be like popping it on once in earbuds. Yeah, that's pretty huge. Um, Speaking of moving on to the next thing, with what appears to be a pretty prime product in your hands there, do you have plans to give the same treatment to any other authors? We talked
You
about
know,
Peter
I've had
Watts.
people ask about that, and I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I'm sure at some point something will. I so my buddy Peter Watts, who wrote the book Blindsight,
Hmm.
who also which is what um,
Technology
technology
implies.
implies belligerent is sort of based on. He did a fantastic version of the movie The Thing.
Hmm.
He rewrote it from the Thing's perspective.
Yeah.
It's called Things. Um, and he and I have talked about doing that. Uh,
Oh.
some legal issues that we would have to kind of deal with, but a buddy of mine is actually friends with John Carpenter, so it's one of those things it, where I want to have a finished product, so I can then go to John and go, "Hey, can we do this?"
Oh man, I got the chills. That's good. That would be so cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I've already got kind of mapped out in my head how I would do it. Like I can see the images.
Hmm.
So that's something I actually would like to do.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
so I'm trying to think. I don't know what else. I'm sure something else will pop up. It really with this one, it wasn't even like I said, it wasn't even something that I planned. It just kept
Hmm.
hopping up, and it hooked into that that those idea. I think I tend to not find a lot of post stuff very intimate, human. They're good stories, but they're and with this, just the idea of that decadence and the that I found very, very interesting.
Very
So
cool.
and
Yeah.
there was a lot of room to move artistically with that.
It's an interesting angle to take on the story because, like, I always want to focus on the titular. There's a death character roaming around and he looks gnarly, right? Fucking metal. But like, yeah, it really is about this sort of society that's just become gross and
Mhm.
very cool thing to focus on.
One of the other rules that I had to give myself with this, because the death is female,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I wanted to make her attractive,
Mm-hmm.
but I also wanted to make her just this absolute horrific, these horrific kind of force of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to keep reminding myself, like, you do not sexualize the Red Death. You do not sexualize the Red Death. And one of the things I had a lot of fun with, though, is as she is walking, her dress kind of billows out behind her and turns into this giant, like, body horror, like,
Nice.
morphing blob of stuff,
Right. She's
So,
she's
and
wearing
she's got wounds, they're just
very
constantly
cool.
ripped open.
Oh, yeah. I love
So,
it. We picked that up from Raw Dog Screaming
Rod Streaming,
Press.
yes.
All, Ryan Bates, Arcturus Sa Diablo says, ooh, John Carpenter. Yes, Ryan Bates says, thank you for all you do, Mr. Grobner, Mr. Archer. You guys rule. No, you do, Ryan. Thanks for helping us out on this most recent Bandcamp Friday. Nobody puts paint to page like Mr. Archer. You have the Crow calendar coming up.
Pro calendar's coming up. Yeah, I need to finish those. But yeah, I got really behind with that because it's been nice because I haven't had to go on tour this year,
Hmm.
and so normally there is this whole section of brain that is like, how am I going to finance this? How am I
Hmm.
going to make this work? And this year I haven't had to worry about that, so I've been able to put out a ton of material. But I'm behind on things, and the Crow
Hmm.
calendar is one of them. I've got like the first 8 months finished, so I need to
Okay.
knock out the remaining pieces. But yeah, so that's coming out this year. I guess end of the month.
Yeah, it is a weird. I thought there was a at the start of the whole thing there was a second where I thought this might be some sort of break, but I've never been more busy slash not busy. Like in my life,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
this bizarre combination. Um,
When it happened, I was looking at. I was like, you remember when MySpace started, and there were a few people that were able to who just got the idea of it really, really
right.
fast, were able to turn into careers.
Hmm.
when 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 this happened, I was like, okay, how can I take advantage of this? And I was like, well, there's going to be a bunch of people looking for stuff, and so looking for shows and just a sense of something happening.
Hmm.
So like the last day that we could go out easily, I ran around and was buying stuff to build the broadcast studio that I
Hmm.
built in the garage, and so just that, and then the whole like, well, okay, people still need that kind of thing. So I was like, well, I don't want to do broadcasts of my own stuff every week or whatever, over and over again. So I hit on the idea of doing covers. So I did like 3 full EPs of
Yeah,
cover.
yeah, they're really good. We heard the Massive Attack one
Yeah.
on or the uh, Red Death promo, and obviously that's it's going into Crow Calendar. Where do people get that?
Oh, you can get that directly from our web store, which is egolikeness.bigcartel.com.
Great, great.
And along with a ton of my prints. Actually, I'm sold out of the children's book, but I have my coloring book that I did, the tarot deck that I did, um, and miscellaneous like stone burner
Woohoo!
stuff. I realized I can't do anything illegal. Like, he had a picture of himself on his shirt.
Yeah, well, you're in space either way, international waters. So yeah, just uh, say that you wrote the first four Beatles albums. Who cares?
That's true.
Um, but it is a great shirt. You can get that at
Yeah, we
Uh,
have a few of them left over. Please buy them because they're just taking up space.
oh, Crow Calendar is sold out, says
Is
Arcturus.
it? It shouldn't be. Maybe I have to do a changes.
Okay.
Check back in like 45 minutes
Check
when we're
back
done
in
with this, because
45 minutes, everybody. We will recrow. His watch is not
that would
ended.
explain why they're not selling them. And but
The well, speaking of Stoneburner, let's we can't talk to Stephen for too long without jumping over to the music side. Um, but we'll start with administratively music. The sentence made sense. Blah, blah, blah. You've started Wolfcore Records. That's
of course, yeah.
exciting. Uh,
I just got sick of like trying to tell people, well, there's this project and this project and this project and this
yeah.
project. Here are all the links and da 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 da. So this way it was just it's a very casual thing. At some point, if I sign Stoneburner to somebody else, I'll just
Hmm.
adjust it. It's yeah, I got sick of all of that. So this was just a good way to do it. Although Hemlock, my drummer, her band is on there, Sister Saren, and it doesn't cost me anything. So
Hmm.
I'll be I've got a few other people that I'm gonna,
Okay.
that way it's there and you have it. And
So you're moving this into
more or less, I
label-ish.
mean, mostly it's just like a guilt by association thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just by virtue of the fact that I have however big an audience that I have, if I can help, Hemlock get her stuff out there. Basically, I just want to, the people that I know that really are doing the thing and really working hard to get their material out there. If this helps them, that's awesome.
Okay.
Uh,
Toss out that band name one more time.
Hemlock's band is Sister Saren.
Sister Sarin.
Yeah.
Sarin.
Yes.
All
Mhm.
right. Well, we'll check them out, and not only that, but the many faces of industrial. Our guest today has also Oculus and Queen Neon out.
Yes, Ocellus and Queen Neon. Ocellus is another thing I did about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a number of things. I did a song with Hopeful Machines, and I was like, I could turn this one song into a whole project. So I wanted to see if I could do that. It was also listening to, or not listening to, actually, knowing of the existence of Author and Punisher
Hmm.
and liking it conceptually and going, I'm going to make something that sounds like what I think he sounds like.
Okay.
Uh, and it doesn't exactly, but it definitely shares a similar DNA. It's very heavy and it's
Hmm.
really not friendly.
Hmm.
Um, that was another part of the project, was I want to take really ugly, unpleasant sounds and see if I can get them to make sense
Okay.
sonically.
Very
So
cool.
it's very, very abstract, and I want to say it's metal for a lack of a better term.
Hmm.
Um, it's got a lot of screaming and a lot of guitar.
Very cool.
So, but it's also very. I was actually used as a score for a friend of mine. Uh, did a torture porn movie called White Meat, and if you catch the first video for Ocellus, it's uh, some of the clips from it are that it's great. He's a black gay man killing white supremacists.
Wow. Lot
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, it's awesome. I was like, generally I'm not a big fan of torture porn, but A, I like Fabian, the guy who did it, and B, conceptual. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally down with that. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I did some of the score for that, and actually wrote additional material for it. Queen Neon is my, once again, kind of taking an idea without really paying a
Yeah.
lot of attention to what it is.
That's it. That's
But
how it starts.
it was the idea of synthwave, me doing
Hmm.
synthwave stuff. 'Cause I grew up on Tangerine.
Oh, hey, what's up,
Oh,
superstar?
hi!
Hi,
What's
just saying
going
I
hi.
thought I thought it was the cat.
well,
Hi.
uh, with predatory grace either way. The out of Toronto, Kraken Not Stirred says ugly, unpleasant sounds equal best sounds. Um,
Ugly one-horned mule. Uh,
we check out Ocellus. Sorry, I pronounced it
Ocellus.
wrong. What? Ah,
Uh,
damn it! I fucked it up again. Was it
Ocellus.
Ocellus?
Ocellus are the little white dot. This was another one of those. I knew the band name before I knew what it sounded
Hmm.
like. They're the white dots on the back of tigers' ears that are
Oh,
false eyes. And I was like, that's metal as fuck.
that is pretty
And
metal. and Queen Neon on the
Yeah,
other side. I was gonna say other side of that coin, but you're more of a D20 in non-Euclidean space. You don't have one side or two sides at all.
yeah.
Um, and did I hear you right? You've just started a new stone
I did.
burner.
I did. I'm actually really excited about it. I had another one in the pipe already that I had like 5 or 6 songs demoed
Wow.
out for, but I didn't love it.
Hmm.
And they were good. They functioned, they did their job, but I didn't love them.
Okay.
And it's very
Yeah.
easy when you're when you take all the things you love and you turn it into your job, um, you get into these. I'm doing this thing because it's my job.
Hmm.
Um, so I kind of backtracked off of that, and it's like I need something else. So I didn't work on any music for about a month or two,
Hmm.
and then I started just throwing noise down, and came up. I For me, a lot of times these records have to start with a concept, so I know what the overall theme is, and this one's just the theme is anger,
Okay.
uh, and the album's going to be called Apex Predator.
Nice.
Um, and I've been I've actually, like, in a week I've got maybe a dozen songs that are ready to start writing vocals to.
Oh wow.
I'm, I'm keeping it really minimal. I think that was part of the reason I didn't like the material I had sitting
Mm.
around. Is I think it was overproduced. So I'm at this point I'm going to start writing the lyrics to essentially just drums, noise, and a little bit of bass.
Okay, because uh, I thought I thought belligerence, technology implies belligerence,
Yeah,
meaning
yeah,
was really dense, uh,
yeah.
and so it sounds like this might be. I hate to say the word minimal because that has
It's going to be
connotations.
dense, but it's going to have less. The idea is to have less going on, but make it count more,
Mm, okay,
if that makes sense.
no, totally.
So,
It's inverse
and
ninja theorem.
that's a an ongoing problem that I recognize in myself as an artist in general. Like, even with painting, it's very difficult for me to not
Mm,
fill space up. So I'm one of the rules for this one is really limiting, making the sounds count more,
interesting.
and not just doing like, well, I'll just add another pad to fill out that pad over there and do.
Okay,
So,
right. I'm gonna go off script a little bit because you're touching on an idea that's interesting, and I don't have this thought fully formed.
mhm.
But you had talked about completing stuff that functioned and it did its job and it's fine. And I'll often do that in terms of like I've completed the song and I hit save and I have the thought I don't like this, but I bet somebody will. And and then that just makes me feel like bad. Like
I
I've
I don't know how often I have that. Oh, actually, you know what? I've done that with paintings. It's
hmm
not that I don't like it, but I don't love it.
hmm
And but I also recognize that there are, like, so a friend of mine did a documentary at one point, and I was talking to her about it, and she was like, I don't know how to if this is good or not. And I was like, you don't get to know if it's good. All you get to
yeah.
know is if it functions. So, you watch it, you're going through and you're reviewing the footage, you're listening to the thing or whatever. Like, are all the parts in the right place? Do the transitions feel right? Have you done everything you can to stay objective and see it the way,
hmm
that's all you get. You don't get to know if it's good.
Okay.
Because I mean, over the years I've
Oh,
done shit where I'm like, this is amazing, and no one gave a shit. And
totally.
I'll do something that I just kind of knocked off, and somebody will be like, oh, I love
So
that. But
absolutely.
you just never know. And so I just kind of rely on, well, I know I'm good at what I do.
hmm
I did everything I could do with it. I feel like I have, done the best I could with it. Go be.
That is a powerful idea. You don't get to know if it's good. Oh man, that's pretty awesome, man. Um, I'm gonna totally smash cut to something else because I want to get it in. But the help me design Skyrim, the Stephen Archer edition. Do you get a hairless cat sidekick?
Well, I get a blue cat
You get a
sidekick.
blue
So
cat sidekick. Okay.
yeah, there's an NPC follower you can get called Inigo, who's a blue cat jet
Okay.
that is really awesome, and I highly suggest playing with him because he's a nice guy. Like you'll want to hang out with him, you know.
In the
Uh,
Stephen Archer edition, can your battle cry be ego da?
I have been really that's funny. I actually was thinking about I would love to make a Skyrim mod where I within a location that teaches the fundamentals of art.
Get out! That's
And I
awesome.
was like, I want to make it. I want to, have a me make an NPC version of me that takes you through kind of a virtual art gallery and kind of says, okay, this is why this is important, and
Wow.
here are examples of how you could do this. But so if anybody out there is into Skyrim modding and can wants to talk about this, like I'm completely serious. I know exactly how it would work in my head. I just need to. I don't want to have to learn another fucking thing. It's
you
really what it
you
boils down to. I've got to learn another trick with 3D rendering for another project I'm doing, and I just don't want to have to learn how to do this. So if you know how to do it, drop me a line because I think it could be a really cool thing.
it probably could be. Stephen will do it. The guy gets it done. Uh, I mean, Macho Man mod. Grasp Logic says praise Talos. Um, yes. So anybody want to make an art education Skyrim hybrid?
Like I
Uh,
was thinking, because you could actually have them install like random frames on poles around the world where it's like if the character goes and stands on a certain spot, you can actually look at the frame, see the landscape through the frame as an individual, like as a painting almost. And then I could like use those as examples of like, okay, here the dynamics work, and this is why these dynamics work.
very. That's a really exciting idea. Um, Smash cut number two. I am the king of bad segues. We're going to go right into because I also want to touch on this. As if you didn't have enough plates spinning, you're doing a short film.
I am,
Tell us
yes.
about Wandering Star.
Wandering Star. Okay, so the basic premise, and it's really, I'm still trying to figure out what my elevator pitch is on this, but a a monster saves a kid in the middle of a snowstorm.
Okay.
Uh, Let me see if I can move the computer enough. He actually, this is
Oh, hey, buddy.
this is the main monster
Oh, hey,
character,
little guy.
who's a puppet for the moment. I'm still figuring out exactly how he's going to interact with the
Really
world.
cool. Wow.
Um, and I this is one of those things where I actually came up with this idea 15 years ago for a video for a song that we do called, or the Ego does, called "The Foolish Man Who Has No Home."
Mm.
And recently, this past year, I got a much better camera. I built a green screen rig for some of the videos I've been doing, and have been just doing a lot more sculptural stuff. So I've been really playing. Basically, my ability to make the thing has gotten much better. So,
That's
like, fuck it, let's give it a shot and see if we can do it.
so. Is it
I'm listening.
your puppeteering this whole thing, or is it
Well,
like acted?
I'm trying to like it's going to be partially puppeteering and some fake stop motion. Like this is he doesn't have a face, but this is one of the other
You are going all out on this thing,
characters
man.
for.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so we'll just see how it all plays out. Yeah, I don't know. It's a massive learning curve.
Yeah. So, um,
Yeah, like here's one of the other ones. He hasn't been painted yet, but
very cool. Well, oh, hey, David Christensen.
oh, hey
Christian,
man.
Christian, excuse me. I'm sorry. Says I heart puppets. Um, we are getting some suggestions for people that might want to take you up on your Skyrim offer. Check
Oh,
out
awesome.
the Twitch channel for those suggestions.
You can also
And
just email me directly,
email Steven.
egolikeness@gmail.com, or
And
through
I
my.
know I misspoke. I'm sorry, man. I said Christensen, but what's up to Cervello? And I just get so excited when I talk to Steven. In this learning curve. What challenges? I mean, you sort of have done it all heretofore. What challenges in the language of media are you discovering that might not exist in music or 2D art
Um, well,
or motion picture, I should say?
a lot of it is trying to think through the entire. So I've got a little book that's got all the shots more or less in it, that I want to do. And so a lot of it is just trying to think through before I go out into the very, very cold garage and
Hmm.
build a set. I'm trying to think through every single problem, or just that I can possibly think of, so that when I get out there and I'm actually trying to do it, um, I don't have to stop and go
Hmm.
back
Yeah.
and okay, now I have to build like five more characters. Um,
That's an interesting environmental challenge. Like you have to storyboard it out because the garage is cold. I love that.
well, but it's just it's a allocation of energy sort of thing.
Hmm.
And the thing like, so I did a video earlier this year called "Are You There the Way I'm Here," that took 5 weeks to do.
Wow.
Because my initial thought was I would do it like the way I did the hi, come on,
Always welcome on Space Couch
hi,
is
come here.
Sophie.
Well, yeah, why? Why are you yelling at me? She's just going to circle the chair.
That's cool. That's
Um,
cool. We had
but
Space Dog come out and show his butt, her butt for a second.
here, let me move my legs. Maybe you can jump up on. Come on. But
She's just
so
gonna
I'm
yell.
trying to work out all of these ideas in advance. Oh, right. So earlier this year, I did a bunch of like sort of semi-animation videos, and the ones for Mass Driver, I think, took like 5 or 6 weeks to do all of them. And when I did "Are You There the Way I'm Here," I was like, well, I could do that, but maybe it'd be faster if I just green screen the whole thing.
Hmm.
And then that took 5 weeks, and that was
Wow.
me building like these massive house structures, and then like masks for all the
Where do we see this
characters.
video? Is that a Stoneburner thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Where?
Oh, yeah. Please check it out because I'm insanely proud of it. It's the like one of the. See if I can get it. Oh no!
Oh, Joyce is here. She says my kitties are taking notice of his kitties. Thanks for watching, Joyce.
This was like the mask for
Oh
my cat,
yeah. Okay.
and then I had
Wow.
um a rack of antlers with a bunch of knives on them,
Wow.
and then a whole other costume. I have a scar from the knives. Uh,
So check this out from Stoneburner.
yeah. Are you
Available
there?
now. Just youtube.com/Stoneburner or however they do the videos. Where do we see that?
Oh, it's on. You can just look it up on YouTube
Very cool.
or on the Bandcamp page. So if you go to the Wolfcore Bandcamp page, go to Stoneburner, and the video for "Are You There the Way I'm Here"
Is
is
that wolfcorerecords.bandcamp.com?
Wolfcore-records.bandcamp.
Wolfcore-records. Check out the fantastic newness from Steve's new label, because why wouldn't he start a label? It's not like he's not doing 5,000 things
We
all
tried to
the.
start a real label once, but man, dealing with all that distribution and shit of physical things, that just sucked. And then
Yeah.
this was like 20 years ago, and you still had to like actually put forth a bunch of effort to get to get all the ISBN codes.
Mm.
So yeah,
No, no. Tiger Squawk is internet fueled. Uh,
yep, yep. I love the new tattoos, by the way.
oh, hey, thanks, man. Going full
Yeah,
deep one, but doing what you got to do. Much
you
appreciated.
got your gills.
I thought about it. I don't want to go full cosplay with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I like the austerity of just the very basic line fins. But that's just you come for the Stephen Archer art talk. You stay for the hot tattoo chatter. Um,
I keep wanting to get something here. I designed like one based on
Oh
the
yeah.
box from Hellraiser that I still may do at some point.
Ooh, very cool. Well, you are no stranger to ink. Um, what might be next for the mighty? I mean, I know we went kind of over all the things you're working on, but like, what's in the immediate sort of?
Well, immediately, like I said, I'm working on a new record. I'm doing that's I'm kind of in a nice place where I can just kind of see where things are at on
Mm-hmm.
any given day and do whatever makes sense. I last night I got the beast is more or less
Wow.
back up and running again, so that's exciting. I had to. I had pushed the laptop that it was running on as far as I could go with it, so I actually had to move it over to my
Oh,
personal
really?
machine,
Okay.
which is way faster. And
Because you did a ton of live shows this year, man.
yeah, yeah. And like I had to go back and I'm rewiring. I got a bunch of new patch bays and stuff, so
Cool.
it's all a little bit more practical for as far as the wiring goes. So I've got it operating at about 2/3. I've got all the hardware running. I just need to get the iOS machine devices going and then do some more programming.
Then it's the Stone Burner.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Um, right. So let's we're coming to the end of our orbit here out in space, but I want to do a sort of couch roundup because you want to check out right now from Raw Dog Screaming Press the amazing Mask of the Red Death. It is gorgeous. It is everything you already like about Poe with everything you've come to love about the wonderful Stephen Archer. You want to check out many offerings from the fantastic newness Wolf Core Records. You will,
Yeah, we've got Stoneburner, Hopeful Machines, Queen Neon, Ocellus, and oh, the Trinity Project is on there. The Trinity Project was a thing we did about 20 years ago when Ego
wow,
like started, and it was our take on experimental atmospheric music, but we actually did it with a live band.
wow.
So there's the one studio album and then one of kind of early demos that actually has some of the very earliest stuff Donna and I ever did together. And then there's a live record that actually has the full live band.
Kick ass,
Uh,
man.
so there's that, and Sister Saren, which is Hemlock's band.
So if you like a little history with your lycanthropy, check out wolfcorerecords.bandcamp.com for everything we just heard about. Watch for, I don't know if you have an ETA on something like this, but watch for the upcoming Wandering Star. Uh,
Yeah, I had this really funny idea about 4 months ago that I was going to have it done in time for Christmas, but yeah, that I was like, that's not realistic. Maybe by next year, we'll see. Maybe
well, whet your appetite with the video you spent 5 weeks making. Uh,
yeah, check that out. I mean, like no kidding. Like, are you there the way I'm here? If you can just look it up on YouTube,
mhm.
Stoneburner. Um,
We'll
I'm
post the link in the show notes.
yeah, I'm really proud of that song and the video for it. Like it was one of those moments of, hey, this song, the quality of, in my opinion, of this song and what it's about is worth putting this amount of time into
Mm.
to make something to talk about that with.
Very cool, very cool. Like, yeah, it's really it feels good to have something that tangible. Like
Mhm.
not even look at with the video, but like in terms of like what a song's about. Like, there's meat on this bone that I can
Right,
when
exactly.
I'm performing or even just writing, I can really sink my teeth.
It was one of those neat moments of like, because the song's about like about distance between people and how. Come on, hi, yeah,
Oh, we got a Sophie appearance after all. Very cool.
hi, come on up. And so it was very timely in that respect. But
Aw.
I know I feel like it's one of those moments. It talks about a truth that doesn't always get
Very cool.
discussed all the time.
Yeah, well, we'll check that out. Oh, Chelsea's here. What's up to Cincinnati? We'll check out the upcoming art education Skyrim mod. Uh, and all things. Oh, and the Crow Calendar at
The Grow Calendar. Yeah.
eaglelikeness.bigcartel. Still time to order that.
I,
And
I, just as a real quick, if you go to Raw Dog's site, make sure to check out Donna's stuff because she's got. Last year she put out a great poetry collection,
yeah, Choking
and
Back the Devil.
Choking Back the Devil, and then we've got our book Witches. Both of those were nominated for Stoker Awards, and so at least some people think they're good,
Well, I
and,
think they're
and a few
great.
other things too. So yeah, definitely check out her stuff.
Was
Raw
able.
Dog's a great publisher. They put out
Oh
really
yeah,
good stuff.
very cool,
Mhm.
very cool. Well, definitely personal endorsement for Choking Back the Devil. Was able to get a copy of that when we did Populate Itself out here in
Oh right, good.
Boston,
Yeah,
and then well
along
Providence.
with the shave gel.
Uh, we can't get through an episode of Space Couch without as long as we have the official spokesmodel for Gossicle brand shoulder shave gel with us here today. Check out Gossicle brand shoulder shave gel
Oh,
at
shave gel.
thegossicles.bandcamp.com/merch. The only shoulder shave gel endorsed by Stephen Archer. I don't know if he uses it or not, but as far as I
Hey,
know,
it's the only shoulder shave gel I ever
it's
use.
the only shoulder shave gel
It's the
he
only
ever
shoulder
used.
shave gel I have. You know, the perspective thing. Her head really is this small.
That
Like
is correct. Because I only know her from like your Facebook photos. I didn't know she had such a teeny tiny noggin.
she's really small. She weighs like 10 pounds.
Okay.
She's a tiny little cat, but she has this huge presence of anger
She's an
and
animal with a powerful aura.
she very much so. Yes.
Check out, good enough to appear in your promo picture. Used all over.
Yes, yes.
And
It looks like we're talking, but she's really just yelling at me because she can't help that.
oh, that's hilarious. You'll want to check all that out. So, but Mask of the Red Death is, if you pre-ordered it, you have it now. Otherwise, it exists in the world. It's not like a
Yeah,
Kickstarter. You're gonna
actually,
like.
the ninth, I think so in 3 days, if you pre-ordered it, you'll be getting a digital copy in wherever in their email or whatever like that. And I have all the physical copies, which I'm signing and doing other stuff
Oh,
too.
cool. All right, awesome.
I'm licking all of them, so hopefully
it
I'll have it soon.
it
Um,
comes with a little vial of Red Death.
yes,
So
yes. I actually have soap that's being made to promote it as well. Yeah, a friend of mine is making this really cool like Red Death soap for it,
that's
but I don't
amazing,
have them for
dude.
these. So
When next you're on the couch, you're gonna have like a mech. You're gonna like, you're gonna have started a nation or something. The guy just does not stop. Um, uh, in response to saying Sophie has a small head, Chelsea says and a big butt.
oh yeah.
Arcturus says I am excited. I am excited too.
She's a
Let's
lady of a certain age. These, gravity. You know.
well, she should bring her. She's welcome on the space couch where we are at a deficit for gravity. I have to artificially
That's a good point.
create it.
I
Um,
was thinking about that, and the volume of air is actually the airflow is very nice considering, I don't
well,
hear any leaks in the space. So
I am all about volume. The um, the website is all the things we just listed. Wolfcore.records.bandcamp.com. We are going to pull this couch back on into the station for now, and we'll see you next year for season. Can you believe it? 4 of
I was wondering
Space
that
Couch.
so 4 years of this.
Not 4 years. It's like I took a big break and called that a season because I'm just kind of making it up as I went
Yeah,
along. But this is going to be episode 89 or something. We're coming
really,
up
yeah. I
on
was thinking about
episode
that.
100.
Like I said, and I was telling him earlier, I was like, people often talk about how much I work, and Brian says that too. But I was actually thinking specifically about Brian and how right, how he just is one of the hardest working people I know, and I have a phenomenal amount of respect for that. And I think that's something that all you guys that are listening should or watching should really respect. Like all of the bands that do this, that really fucking do it. Like we're all independent, and we all do it all ourselves, and because we love it. And Brian is a stunning example of all of that, not just with his own stuff, but putting the record label together and then doing stuff like this, which helps all of us. So yeah, I mean, it just I assume you have a Patreon, or I know you have product.
Yeah,
Um,
I never
go
went Patreon,
please
but
support him with your money
uh,
and adoration.
yeah.
So make him cakes.
Although use almond meal because I'm keto. The that's your out, man. So this is Brian for Space Couch, for Steven for 9,000 things, but we'll just say the Mask of the Red Death is out now. Uh, Space Couch. I got it went to sleep. Oh, that is a perfect way to end the season. I love it. Thank you so much.
Coffee shits.
Oh yeah, I'm up to 300 coffee beans. You gotta, like you said, I do have a day job, and you gotta figure out a way to make it through the day sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So I choose puns based on poop because I'm 12. But
Uh,
all right, we
hey,
will.
you know what? Our PayPal me is ego likeness 69 because it's funny.
Nice. I will
Exactly.
check you later, man. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care.